Once upon a time, all the birds, the swans, the parrots, cranes, cuckoos, nightingales, owls, peacocks, doves, partridges, and the rest of them had a meeting. They began to hold a discussion with great vehemence. They said, Garun is our king, but he's so busy serving Lord Vishnu that he doesn't bother about us. What is the point of having a master who is just a namesake? He never helps us to get out of the traps set by hunters. They say, as a boat without a helmsman just drifts with the tide. So too the people come to grief when their king takes no care of them. So never put your faith in such a king any more than you would in a sinking ship in the ocean. The same applies to a teacher who does not teach, a Brahmin who does not study the Vedas, a wife who has a sharp tongue, a cowherd in a town, and a barber who wants to become a sannyasi. The birds continues. And so let us consider the matter carefully and elect a new king. Now, when the birds looked around at one another, they noticed that the owl had very impressive features, and everyone said, the owl shall be our king. Bring the things that are necessary for the coronation. And so the birds collected water from the holy rivers and also 108 different routes. The throne was decorated lavishly, and a tiger's skin was spread over the ground in front of it. They drew a map of all the continent and the oceans. They beat the drums and blew the conches. Brahmins began to recite the Vedas, and beautiful maidens sang songs of joy. But just as the owl was being led to the throne to be crowned, a crow arrived on the scene and demanded, what is the meaning of this great gathering of birds? When the birds saw the crow, they said to one another, let's have his opinion too, for they say a barber is the shrewdest amongst men, a crow amongst birds, a jackal amongst animals, and a white robed Jan Muni amongst hermits. And a plan once decided upon in consultation with a wise man will never go astray. The crow repeated, birds, why this meeting and why this celebration? The birds replied, friend, we birds have no king of our own, and so we have decided to crown this owl as our king. You have come just in time to give us your opinion too. The crow with a smile replied, well, my advice is against crowning the owl our king. Why choose this ugly and blind by day owl, when we have amongst us the best of the birds, peacocks, swans, cuckoos, nightingales, pigeons, cranes, and so on? I certainly advise against it. His crooked nose and his squint eyes make him look cruel. Even when he is not angry, whatever would he look like if he was really angry? What could we possibly gain by electing such an ugly and vicious looking leader? And what is more, even if this owl has his qualities, it is not necessary to elect another king. We already have Garun, and just by mentioning his name, you can keep our enemies at bay. They say the mere utterance of a great man's name helps you get out of difficulties. In this way, the hares mentioned the name of Chandrama and lived happily after. The birds asked, how was that? And the crow told. But what crow told, I'll tell you in my next video. Till then, keep listening beautiful stories and keep smiling.